So have a half-hour break. Okay.
Oh. Good morning, Jim Jack guys. Oh, that's better. We had a bit of unmuting there. Wow, there are lots of you this morning. This is wonderful. It's really, really nice to see you all. I'm sorry the circumstances under which we are seeing each other are like this. New South Wales, Victoria, look at us in lockdown again. But anyway, it means we can have a Jim Jam gang. So there's that. There are a lot of beautiful faces here today. Lots of really, really old veterans of the Jim Jam gang and some new ones as well. It's just so nice to see you all. Today's PJs, today's pajamas, I just got them out of the dryer. They're warm as toast and they are Crazy Cat Lady. I'm actually more of a dog person, but we have a lot of cats. We have a lot of cats. And the top is actually, it's kind of plain, but check out the trousers. Look at them. Cats everywhere. How about them? And I got matching Peter Alexander boots as well. So that was my outfit for today, and I am really happy to be here. I hope you are too. Now, this morning's Jim Jam gang, it's a little bit different. We will be doing a 4-step process this week, but not today, because today we need to talk about sight words. We need to talk, okay, about sight words. First of all, hands up if you can make your hands go up on your screen, or you can even put your hand up where I can see it. Hands up if you've ever had a teacher say to you, learn these sight words. Has anyone ever had that experience where the teacher's gone, here's some sight words, learn them? Couple of hands up. Oh, lots of thumbs up. Yeah, I can see lots of that. Okay, cool. All right, well, we need to talk about this, okay? We need to talk about this. And so I prepared a little thing for you. Imogen, you are now on letting people in, okay? Oh, you have. She's already doing that. Also, Chicken Nugget is here somewhere. Where are you, Nug? She might jump up at any point. If she does, we'll stop the presentation and say hello to her. All right, let's begin. Sight words. And I would like to hear about your experiences with sight words when we're finished, okay? When we're finished this thing that I'm going to share with you now. Bum, bum, bum. Here we go. All right, so we need to talk about sight words. This is a Jim Jam Gang special. We need to talk about sight words because everybody hears those words. Everybody hears that phrase. And there is some disagreement about what a sight word is. And I think we need to talk about it because quite a lot of the time that you spend at school and the energy that you spend at school has something to do with learning sight words. A sight word is a word in your brain. It's a word in your brain. It exists in your brain. That's what a sight word is. A sight word is a word that you know instantly. So I'll give you all an example of a sight word that you all know, and I'm pretty certain you all know this sight word, okay? Think of your name, right? Whatever your name is, if I wrote that down and showed it to you, you would go like this, my name. You'd know that was your name because that's one of the first sight words that any person learns, right? And that stands to reason. That's a good idea. It's good to know, to be able to spot your name instantly. So if I wrote your name and showed it to you, it would be like this, name, right? So fast, you would just be able to see that, right? So that's a sight word. It's a sight word is a word that you know instantly. It's also a word that you know effortlessly. So effortlessly means you didn't have to work at reading a sight word. Sight words are ones that you don't have to work out. You don't have to sound them out. You don't have to look around for other cues or clues. You just know it, and it takes no effort. And again, think of your name. Do you have to sound that out every time now? Probably not for most people, right? There are lots and lots of words like that. And the more of those you get in your brain, the easier it is for you to read, the easier it is for you to write. Okay? So it's really important to have lots of them. So a sight word is something in your brain that you know instantly and effortlessly. As soon as you see it, boom, it's there. That's a sight word. A sight word is not a word in some list that someone dreamed up that magically is supposed to just go into your head. That's not what a sight word is. What that is a word list. Okay, that's not a sight word. And the words on there are not sight words unless you know them instantly and effortlessly. A sight word is not a tricky word, right? You know, there's lots of tricky words that are hard to recognize that sort of look like other words or are very complicated. That's not what a sight word is. A tricky word can sometimes be known as an irregular word. That is a word that doesn't follow the rules that you already know. And I'll let you into a secret. The more words you know, the less you have tricky words in this world, right? The smaller and smaller and smaller the list of tricky words is. So that's not a sight word either. A sight word is not a word that you see a lot, okay? A sight word is not a word that you see a lot. That's called a high frequency word or a common word. Tricky words and high frequency words can sometimes be really good to learn when you're starting out. And the reason for that is that words that you see a lot that you have as sight words help you become more fluent. So I get why some teachers would call words that you see a lot sight words. They're not. They're not sight words until they're in your brain. A sight word is not a word that you just have to memorize, you know? Yeah, it's not. That's not what a sight word is. High frequency words are good to know instantly and effortlessly. Tricky words are good to know. All words are good to know, but a sight word is not a word that you just got to memorize. A sight word is a word that you know. A sight word could be anything. It could be a big word. Who remembers doing the lesson on anti-disestablishmentarianism? Did anyone come to that one? We spelled the word anti-disestablishmentarianism. And actually, that word, because it's so long, right, is actually really easy to get as a sight word because there aren't that many words of that length. Not that shape has a lot to do with words, right, or with remembering words, but it could be a big word, the sight words that are in your head. You could have lots of big words in there. A sight word could be a tiny word, like this one. It's a one-letter word. There's another one in English. You know what it is? Write it in the chat. There's another one-letter word in English, right? So there you go. It could be a tiny word. It could be a big word. It could even be in a family of words. It could be in a whole family. Were you there for when we did giant and gigantic and gigabyte? They're in a family. And I wonder if studying those words helped them become sight words in your brain. Because a sight word is a word that you know. That's what makes it a sight word. It's a word that you know. Yep. Instantly and effortlessly. And everybody has a different list of sight words in their brains, right? You can't teach sight words. You can learn them, but you can't teach them because everybody's brain has a different list in there because of your experiences. So the big question is, I hear you ask, okay, if a sight word is a word that I know instantly and effortlessly, how do I get me some, right? How do I get sight words? Well, I'll show you. You get sight words by studying words properly, by studying them well, not by doing these things. You don't get sight words by coloring words in. That's not how you get sight words. That's a colossal, big waste of your time and energy. You don't get sight words that way. You might be able to learn some words like that, but if you think of the fact that you need to have tens of thousands of these words in your brain, coloring them all in would take the rest of your life. Okay, so that's not a very good way to try and get words into your brain. Same with writing them over and over and over and over. That's not a good way to get words into your long-term memory, into your brain, right? I really like this picture. It's Bart Simpson saying, vampire is not a career choice. I like that a lot. Anyway, that is not how you get sight words. Writing them over and over and over and over and over again becomes something useless very, very quickly. So that's not how you get sight words. You don't get sight words by just staring at words. Like, how many of you have had to get a stack of cards that have got words on them, and then you've had to sort them into all of these different groups, like these are all the words that end in AY, and these are all the words with the suffix ED, and so on, right? That's not how you get sight words. So those sorting words into groups are about staring at words. That's not how you get a sight word. You just stare at them. That's not going to work. Okay, it might work for a small amount of words. It's not going to work for the tens of thousands of words that you need to learn effortlessly and instantly. It's not a good idea to try and learn words by sight by cramming a bunch of words in for a test. Who's had this sort of thing on Monday? Here's your list. Friday, and I'm not really going to tell you what to do except copy it out and cover it and try it, right? On Friday, I'm going to test you and you're going to get a score. Yep, that's not how you learn sight words, okay? That's called cramming, and you might get 10 out of 10 on Friday. I can guarantee you in a month, in a year, it won't be 10 out of 10 anymore, because that's not how you learn words, right? That's not how you get sight words. And look at this list. Doctor, lizard, interrupt. What have they got to do with one another? Really bad list. All right. You don't get sight words by having a bunch of words on a wall that you never look at either. Put your hands up or your thumbs up if you've got a word wall in your classroom, because let me tell you, I bet you after the initial kind of, glance over at it, I bet you most of you don't even look at that word wall, because that's not how you get sight words. Having a bunch of words in a wall you never look at, that's not how you get them. This is how you get them. You get sight words by reading and writing and studying and knowing what they mean. See this picture of the dictionary here? You need to know what they mean. If you're going to study a word, if you're going to put a word in long-term memory, you got to have the meaning. You get sight words by doing other things as well. You get sight words by using them in written sentences. Anybody here got a sentence in that gallery? Remember when we did the galaxy? Yeah. You get sight words by using them in written sentences. You get sight words by studying what they're made of. Who was there for dinosaur? Do you remember? Dino, terrible, sore, lizard. Bet you that's a sight word for all of you now, because we studied it. We used it in a sentence. You get sight words by studying them with other words that are like them. And I don't just mean the way that they sound. Let's look at galaxy. Do you remember doing galaxy with me? Yep, and that lac means milk. And even in latte, we've got that base there meaning milk, because a latte is a milky coffee. Lactose. That's the enzyme in milk that's hard to digest sometimes. Galactic, and so these are all connected. I bet you they're sight words for you now, because we connected them all. That's how you get sight words. You get sight words by practicing them 2 ways. First for spelling, Paleozoic. Then for reading, Paleozoic. So when you take them apart and put them back together, you get them that way too when you're practicing them. You don't get them by writing them over and over again. You got to say them. You got to connect them to the sound of the word. Take it apart, put it together. That's how you get sight words. And now I hear you ask, so how do I make this happen? Right? Because everybody would like to get lots and lots of sight words, right? How do I make this happen? Well, I'm going to offer you some advice. You need to tell your teacher something, especially if they're giving you sight word work that contains any of those things that won't help you learn sight words. Tell your teacher, if you want me to really get lots of sight words, and because of that, if you want me to be a better writer, because a big sight word vocabulary, right? That's the store of words that you can recognize instantly and effortlessly. And so it moves on to being able to spell them. Yep. If you want me to be a better writer, if you want me to be a powerful reader, please, please learn how words work. Words work in a certain way. They have things about them that you can learn so that it's easy for you to figure out how they all work together. And a lot of the time when teachers are being trained, they're not taught how words work. So they need to learn that. But they don't just need to learn that. They need to learn how to teach that so that you, children, can actually learn all this stuff, right? So they need to learn how to teach that. And again, they don't get a lot of that in their training, but we need to ask them to do that. Also, say to your teacher, please don't ask me to do these things. Please don't ask me to memorize a list of whole words. It's very, very difficult to do that. Please don't ask me to write words out over and over again. It's boring and it doesn't work. Please don't ask me to waste my time coloring words in. It's nice to color stuff in, but it doesn't help me learn words. So if that's going to be part of a word learning lesson, coloring words in, your teacher needs to find out how words work and how to teach that. Please don't ask me to waste my energy sorting word cards into piles. This doesn't make me learn words. Please don't ask me to work on words without knowing what they mean. Again, hands up if you've had a word list, right, that got sent home with you to learn for a test and you didn't get any of the definitions. Has anyone ever had a word list that contained words that you don't know what they mean? You won't learn them. Yeah, lots of hands going up, right? You won't learn them, and you won't become a better reader and writer if you don't have the meanings of the words as well. The other thing that I beg of teachers is start now. Start now, because if you wait, it might be too late. For these kids, what are we in, July? You got to learn how to teach words, and you got to learn how words work, and you have to start now. And guess what, guys? If your teacher won't listen, well, send them to me. I'd like to know why they don't want to listen. Got that? And that is the end of sight words, okay? So now you guys, and there's lots of you, know more about sight words than some of the adults that I work with. It's not their fault, but they need to listen. They need to find out how words work and find out how to teach that. And that's what you've got to demand from your teachers. There you go. Now, and that's the work we're going to do. That's it. That's what we're going to do today. Tomorrow, do I do one? Shall I do one tomorrow? Does anyone want to do a 4-step process tomorrow? You do? All right, then. All right, we'll do. All right, tomorrow we'll go back to 4-step process. And what are we studying? Are we studying the planets? I forget. Are we studying space? Dinosaurs? What are we doing? Or do we pick a new one? We're going to pick a new one, I think. I think we should pick a new one. Okay, but anyway, back to this. Let's have a look at what you guys are saying. Gosh. There's lots of strange stuff in the chat. Does anybody want to ask a question or say anything about today or anything to do with spelling and sight words? George, it's so nice to see you. It's just unbelievably fabulous to have you here.
Me and Mum did the 1-1 run rule already.
Did you? So now you know a little bit more even about how words work, because that's how words work, right? So when did you do the 1-1-1 rule, George?
Yesterday.
That is amazing. I am so proud of you. That's fantastic.
You talked to Lynn. So thanks, Lynn.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks, George. It's always brilliant to see you. Anybody else want to say anything or ask anything? What have we got here? Who's George? Who's George? George is like one of the stars of this show. George and his family. I'm looking at you, Amelia, right? And Sam is there somewhere as well. They've been coming since the beginning, since the very beginning. We're really old friends now. Old friends, just like Van and Tully. Old friends. Yeah, there you go. Anybody else got any questions? Anything that they want to ask? Anything that they want to say? We've got a few minutes. Oh, yes. No. You asked some of the best questions in the world, but I've forgotten your name.
Hi, I'm Emma.
Emma, that's it. What did you want to say, Emma?
How do I know when to do double letters?
Well, do you know, Emma, it's really funny that you said that because George was just talking about something he learned with his mum yesterday called the 111 rule. Should we do the 111 rule tomorrow? Should we pick some words that have...
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay, Emma, that's what we're going to do. If I don't write that down, I will forget. It's actually now called... I've actually changed the name of that rule. It's now called Last 3 CVC. And we're going to go over it tomorrow. I think you're going to really dig it. All right. Last 3 CVC. That's for tomorrow, but we will do that in the context of some information as well, some knowledge. We'll pick our subject.
Thanks.
My pleasure, Emma. I just love your questions. Emma's probably one of our youngest students. I'll tell you what. Van! Give me your question. Here goes Van. What, you changed your mind? Van's changed his mind. Im, would you mind scrolling through just in case anybody else has got their hand up? Because I can only see a few pictures at once. Cool.
So, Joanne puts their hand up.
Joanne, all right. Would you unmute Joanne? Oh, wow. I can see a bunny rabbit, Joanne. Is that what's coming up? You've unmuted Cooper and Elise, but I think we need Joanne and her bunny. It's a cat. No, I can tell animals from one another. Yeah, definitely a cat.
I've asked to unmute.
You're trying to unmute, but you couldn't?
I've asked them to unmute.
Oh, okay. You might have to press that button, Joanne. And it's very, very beautiful. It's your cat, Savannah?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Is it a Burmese?
I'm not called Joanne. My mom's Joanne.
Your mum's what? Say it again.
Joanne.
I'm not
Oh, your mum-
Joanne.
Right. What's your name?
I'm Artemis.
Artemis. I knew an Artemis once. That's interesting. Do you get called Ari or Artie?
I'm called Artie.
Love
I'm
it.
called Artie.
Cool. And what's your cat called?
Savannah.
Oh, yeah. It said that right there, didn't it? Beautiful cat. Thank you. Now, who wants to see the chicken nugget? Nala. George says, Lynn, could we learn more about syllables? Of course you can. And in fact, when we do the last 3 CVC rule tomorrow, there's a lot of syllable work in that. So I hope you guys are all really good at counting syllables. If not, here's a bit of practice you can do right now so that you're good at counting syllables for tomorrow's lesson. You ready? When you say the word that you're trying to count the syllables in, what you do is you pretend your lips are zipped together. So if I say the word window, right, and then I go, when I say it again, I can feel how many times I go, out my nose, and that's how many syllables there are. I'm not kidding. You can do that for any word, okay? So let's do dragon. Say dragon out loud. Dragon. Zip your lips. Now say it. How many syllables? How many times did you go, Good. Going to give you another one. Ready? This time, elephant. Say elephant out loud. Elephant. All right, now say it. Zip lips. What have you got? Sometimes you got to go really fast with your counting. 3. That's how you count syllables. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right. Very good. Yep, it is a neat syllable. Oh, Beth. Now, Beth, what time is it in your neck of the woods? It must be like the middle of the night. Beth is joining us from the United States, I believe.
Hi. Yes.
What time is it?
My video on. I'm fast. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yes. I'm fascinated to see the interaction with the children that you've obviously been working with. over time.
They're
But-
extremely cool children. They're very, very cool children. And you know what? They're totally coping with this lockdown. They're really, really smart and really together. I love
it
working.
helps though that they see each other too, and they can get together with you.
I know. I love all the faces. Thank you. Oh, Beth, what time is it?
Over here it's about coming up to 7:30 in the evening.
Oh, that's
so
fine. That's very approachable. It's not the middle of the
night. So it's not the middle of the night or anything like that. I would have had to do the recording otherwise. But
fair enough.
Yeah.
And speaking of the recording, everyone, this recording will go up at some time during the week. I'll try my best to be as fast as I possibly can. Before we go, there's something I want to show everyone. Just because we are doing lots and lots of work on the 4-step process, we're actually working really hard. And by the way, Christiane, there's 2 kids here called Archer and Evelyn, and I'm working with their mum on making some 4-step process kits, and we have just released one called Egypt. So I just want to show you Egypt because I'm so proud of it, and it's something that Christiane did with me. See that one? Ancient Egypt. So we've just come up with 15 words on ancient Egypt with the 4-step process as well. So we've got ancient archaeology, Bam, Berry, Civil Dynasty, Egypt govern, hieroglyph, pharaoh, pyramid, sarcophagus, sphinx, tomb, worship. They can all become sight words if you study them. Bam, bam, bam. There you go. So I thought I'd show you that. So I'm extremely proud of it. All right. Anybody else got any questions, issues, tissues? Looks like, have you got a question, George? Another question?
Yes.
No.
There's chicken nugget.
Oh, yeah. Chicken. Come here. Look, I've got a delicious stick for you. There she is. There's Chicken Nugget. She wouldn't get off the table.
Chicken nugget.
Chicken Nugget. Say Chicken Nugget.
Chicken nugget.
Oh, darling. Oh. There she is. She's overstaying during lockdown. She likes to be with us during lockdown. All right, everyone. It's time to go unless anyone else has a question. If you have a question, you can unmute yourself and ask it because it's hard for me to
Question.
Yay! Okay, fantastic. Artemis, go.
It's not exactly mine, it's Savannah's. She wants to know what we're doing next time.
Right, okay. Next time we're doing how to use double letters.
She said, yay.
I heard that. I actually heard him say yay. That was amazing. That was amazing. All right, everyone. Anybody else got a question? Because it really is time to go now. I'm going to start waving goodbye. And you can start waving and you can unmute yourselves. I'm going to unmute everybody now.
Bye. 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 See you later. Bye. Dial. Bye.
Bye. See you next time.
Yes, it's me. Of course it is. Who else would it be?
Bye.
Bye.